Hey guys, long time no see. I'm gonna come in here with a quick Nightmare Corridor and Cursed Realm video, and I just want to share my formations, and then that'll be it. I did promise in December, I think, in a video that I would do some weekly check-in videos on my formations, so I'll just be doing that right here. Let's start out with the Nightmare Corridor real quick. For this round, actually, I've made some huge improvements, and it's the first time that I'm finishing the round in less than 3 minutes. If we look at the leaderboard, obviously I'm in region 7, so you can laugh at me. However, yeah, for this, it's actually enough to rank within the top 200 players, but I do expect to be pushed out within the next 17 hours. Well, enough yapping, let's go look at my teams. So, the first team here is the Tenen team. This is the team where I can make the largest improvement, because this is theoretically supposed to be 17, 18, or 19 seconds. However, I've played a lot around with collections. I've done what I can, and this seems to be where I max out. Obviously, if I think if I 60 engraving, if I threw on the 60 engraving on Telen, there's a good shot that she might be able to hit it. But this is just where I end out, and it's fine. Here are my collections. I guess I could show you guys the stats. But honestly, all my collections are bad, and also for whatever reason I can't show you from inside this screen. Right, next up, here we have the Awakened Athalia team. Now, for me, using Awakened Athalia, I have to use this pet because I need... Well, basically, that's just how my pet situation works out. There are replacements, right, and you can use Vethil in this round, and you can swap around in the positioning, but this is what I found to be the best for me. Here are my collections, but again, like, just assume that your collections are better than mine, because I haven't really engaged much with the collection system. Also, this team is pretty RNG. For me, maybe it's like a 1 in 5 chance of hitting a sub 40-second run. Usually it does around 50 seconds, right? So it's a RNG round. The next team here, this is the Awakened Sophia team. If you have Brutus, you can throw her into this team. I'm using Vethil as a replacement. You can also use Yoren as a replacement. There's different things you can do in here. The most important part for me was using the Owl and Sophia, and then some Maulers, mainly Carasio. As you can see, he does most of the damage, and my Carasio is decently invested in. Here's the collection. Again, there's nothing good in here. Yeah, just use whatever you have available, but you can take a look at the ones that I'm using anyhow. All right, next up we have the Baen Trashir team. This one is using Trashir's, I believe it's her engraving 30 that allows her to do, or that allows Baden to do a lot of damage. It's something like her engraving 30 increases every individual hit, and obviously Baden summons a lot of minions that can proc her engraving 30, thus doing a lot of damage. And then for the backline, you're using haste supports, right, to speed up the entire team, and also a haste pet to boot, right? And these are the collections. The Baden one looks good, but I believe it's all erosion, so it's not actually good. Anyways, and then lastly, this is a pretty expensive team, right? It uses both Lucilla and Liberta. Lucilla, who I summoned recently, I actually recorded my summons for Lucilla as well, and I think I'll upload those at some point. But I had pretty good rates for once in the Stargazer for summoning her. Another thing you can do here, you can use Anasta in this comp if you don't have Awakened version of Lyca or Lucilla. Anasta does incredibly well. But I'll actually, before I'll show you guys my Cursed Realm information, I'll just go treat you guys to some extra information for the Nightmare Corridor real quick. And that information, sorry, this is going to be a little scuffed, but it will be highly useful, so I think it's worth it. If I can switch my... There we go. That information is over here on the crowdsourcing Discord server, right? They have a Nightmare Corridor tab, as you can see here, for the 6 teams, and then you can look through the different formation that people are using. But yeah, this is basically what I base my teams upon, and then I make switches for myself. I don't know why, but I don't recall having talked about this round. Which is the debuff round for this round of the Nightmare Corridor. And this is where you want to use 3 Graveborns. And for this round, as you can see, I merged the awakened version of Baen, a very big awakened version of Baen, and even with my pet, my panda pet being only level 12, I was actually able to do 27 seconds, and this was actually the difference maker that made me bump my way under 3 minutes. But as you can see here, I did a lot of testing, and the main difference of these hits was testing the pets in the Baen formation. So I can comfortably say that his best pet is the panda at level 12. However, if you have level 18 owl and you don't use it in this comp, you can also use it in here to great effect. But yeah, for obvious reasons, that's not really an attractive option. Right, that does it for the Nightmare Corridor. Again, just a speed run. These were my teams, right? You can copy the teams. For the Tenen formation, I can't promise it works. It's very individually based on how much haste and stuff, and when your Tenen ults, and whether the boss is immune or not. Heading over to the Cursed Realm. So for the Cursed Realm, for the Demonic Nemora round, this is a pretty high RNG round for me, so I'm not going to use any more retries. I'm just going to show you guys the best hit I had, which was at 92 damage. I believe I could probably get 100 trillion damage, right? However, that would take me like 9,000 retries, and I'm not willing to do that. So for this first one, here I'm using obviously the awakened version of Baen, who I'm murking, and then also I'm using Mehira. However, Mehira works at any investment, but if you have the awakened version of Matria, you want to use her in here instead, and obviously a higher pet would be good. You can also use the pet that rains cookies from the skies, but for me this was the best pet at level 13. Next is the Seal team. Pretty self-explanatory. If you have, I think like Brutus, you can use them in here. But yeah, you just want to pick CC heroes and then hope that the Seal, hope that your team lives so that the Seal does a lot of damage. Next up, this is the Awakened Belinda round, right? I'm using Kanisa and Rook. There are replacement. I even believe the new Wilder can be used in this round instead of them. Oh, sorry. Real quick, I'll just show you guys the collections. And again, reminder, my collections are all very bad. So I'm just going to show you the type of collection. I don't have any skill plus 2 collections or whatever. So yeah. Right. Next up, we have the... well, it's kind of a mixed match, right? Who does the damage in here? If you have a really strong Trashia, she will do the primary damage in here. But for me, it's pretty even out, right? Using the Owl along with Group Up on Tamras, and then using Debuff and the awakened version of Chimera for survivability. And then lastly, adding damage and adding haste and regen using the awakened version of Sophia with her SP effect. And then for damage using Trashia. Yeah. And here are the collections anyways. Next team, this is the Rem team, right? Rem does all the damage, as we can see here. You want to make sure that your Rosaline follows Rem, but that shouldn't be a problem since she usually has the highest combat power. It's a pretty cheap team, right? Using only dimensional and 4 faction heroes. Nothing much to say here. Yeah, nothing much to say here. And of course, here are the collections if you care about that. Next up, here you can do some different things. For example, if you don't have Lady Simona or whatever she's called, who I just invested in, right? I just carded her to 9 furniture, and I also just did her 30 engraving, and I also just did her 30 signature item, but that's because she's also very good in the Twisted realm. Is that what it's called? No, it's not. In the Treasure Scramble, sorry. In the Chimera team, in the Treasure Scramble, she's also very good, so that's why I invested into her. But you can also use Leica in here, and Leica does just about the same amount of damage. For me, Simona was slightly better, and that's why I invested into her, and also because of the Treasure Scramble. But if you use Leica in here, you can, I believe you swap out, Lorsen for Vithiel. And here are the collections. Again, nothing really to shout about, right? But as you can see here, this team does, more than a fourth of my damage, right? So it's a really strong team. But this was high RNG. This team was high RNG for me. This team was RNG for me. This team was RNG for me. This team was fairly steady, and this was actually also RNG for me. And then this team was fairly steady. So I had to do a few retries. As you can see here, there are a few retries. I bought diamonds retries once or twice, but I'll settle with this hit where every single team hit decently, right? That, I think, and yeah, of course, I guess I could show you guys real quick. Go over here to the Discord. Again, you can look in the crowdsourcing Discord, right? And you can look at the Cursed Realm Nemora formations, and you can get some different people doing their different hits at different investments, right? And get an idea based upon that. So that's it, guys. It's been a while, but I believe I'll be uploading videos like these every Sunday, right? Looking at my my Cursed Realm and my Nightmare Corridor formations. Another thing, I do want to make Treasure Scramble videos. I gotta figure out when to do those, right? Because it constantly updates throughout the week with how many teams you need, and for every stage, right? For every new team that gets added, every single team changes, right? So you swap heroes around, you weaken some teams to make other teams stronger and such. So I'm not exactly sure how to do that, but if you guys want guides for the Treasure Scramble, one thing I can recommend you guys is join a guild where you have a fellow Treasure Scramble enthusiasts. I'm currently in 10,000 diamonds, and we have a lot of people who really care about the Treasure Scramble, so that's a great place to bounce idea off of. And of course, you can also look at the crowdsourcing Discord server. If we just swap over here again, right, as you can see here, Treasure Scramble Frost Formation was the most recent one, and you can look at what people use, and most importantly, you can look at their rank, right? So this guy's in the older region, but he's almost top 100, so this guy's teams are pretty good, right? As you can see, interestingly using Geralt and stuff like that. But yeah, lots of options in here, right, that you can pick and choose from. But I do recommend finding a guild with like-minded Treasure Scramble individuals. Great. We'll figure that out when it comes. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I wanted to talk about in this video. I gave you guys my formations, and I helped you guys where you could find where I find my formations and what I base my formations upon, which is the crowdsourcing Discord server, which I will link down below. But that's it. I hope you guys had a nice weekend, and I'll see you guys next Sunday, hopefully.